Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to RVCCIS.Info, the channel where faculty representatives from Rock Valley College's Computers and Information Systems Department come to you, our students, and the community at large to talk about things, roughly speaking, having to do with information systems. Today, we thought we would reinvigorate the age-old dispute between AMD and Intel, to try and give you a clear picture of what you might want to invest in here if you're going to get a laptop or a desktop in, what is this, mid-late 2020? Is it finally then? I don't know. I feel like 2020 has been a decade long here.
Yeah, it's fourth quarter 2020, right?
Is it? You're right. It is.
So, I mean,
we're almost there. So far, we have survived.
Yeah, well, that's saying that 2021 is going to be good.
Yeah.
So,
not to we go. All of our optimism has been traded for magic beans at this point.
That is 2020 for you. So yeah, AMD versus Intel. My brother got me looking at computers again. Well, I'm going to blame him for it. Not that, I don't have a problem buying.
Yeah, it didn't take much of a push, I'm sure.
No. And he was showing cases that look like Transformers. But so then that brought up, I actually have an AMD on my wish list, an AMD processor on my wish list. I also have an Intel processor on my wish list, but I actually have the AMD in my wish list on Amazon. So that's kind of a first for me. And the reason I did that was price. That was pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
The cores.
So overall, we're saving a little bit of money probably with AMD over Intel just across the board. That's a pretty easy strategy to be able to give, right?
Yep. And, I kind of want to make a VMware ESXi host, and I want a computer that can do that. And generally Intel, that's why I had Intel on my wish list as well. And generally Intel is the one that works the best with it. And so I thought, well, why shouldn't I try AMD? My Intel board has been great. It's been an i7, it's an i7 processor with an Intel board. I can't remember what kind of board it was, but it's been great, going along fine for 5 years. Maybe I could retire it and
upgrade. Time to upgrade.
Yes. So Tom's Hardware has a great article, AMD versus Intel 2020, that we will put in the show notes below, and who makes the best CPUs. And they have a lot of things that you can read and whatever.
It's pretty dense. I'll admit, for the uninitiated, that might look pretty scary, but it's okay. It's pretty easy to go through.
Yeah, well, you can scroll down to the images.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Look for the graphs. If you want to really nerd out and go for this, just go for the graphs, and it tells you, lines are higher is better or lower is better. So one indicates more frames per second, for example. So higher is always better, whereas time should always be lower. So shorter bars are better.
Yep. So, and it looks like Intel still tested pretty well. So, but they're all super close. So it really doesn't matter for much of it, except for price.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're looking on the desktop side of things, I think it's a blanket statement I feel like we can make is, if you're looking to do gaming above all other things, probably Intel is the way to go. If you look here at all of our charts and graphs, which I hate doing, but if you look here at all of our charts and graphs, pretty much across the board, you're getting higher frames per second when you look at a comparable, Intel versus an AMD chip. So really, if that's what you're spending all of that money to go ahead and do, you're coming out ahead. It looks like from the 10th generation i9 versus i7. So if you think about those, they go i3, which is like the bargain basement, probably dual core, probably not very fast. i5 is where you should really start if you want any kind of performance at all. i7 is where you go for a good step up, and usually that one represents the best value across the board. And then i9 is supposed to be the big terrible beast at the top of the line that, you know, crushes threads and goes fast as hell and all that stuff. Across the board here on the Tom's Hardware list, the i9 is within 1 or 2% of the i7, and it is not within 1 or 2% as far as price. They are almost all, it looks like 20 to 25% more expensive. You are not getting your return on investment for that. Get the i7, it looks like, because that's a hell of a value there.
Yeah. And you know, I'm going to tell you that my i7 that I've had for years, I spent good money on it. And it definitely still works really well. I don't even know why I'm looking at new computers, but so the i7 9700, it looks like, is the one to look for.
Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that the new third generation Ryzen chips there you can see are actually pretty competent. They're within just a couple of frames per second on high-end hardware, it looks like, but they're really significantly cheaper.
Wow.
It looks like a Ryzen 7 can be had, let's see, we're looking at a Ryzen 7 3800X PBO, not PRO, for 329, and that compares really, really favorably to a $390 Core i7. So that's a really good savings there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy more memory for that, man.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good investment there. So it looks like the Ryzens are really, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, even though rather you might not squeeze every last frame per second out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I'm always looking at cores and threads, and the Ryzen 9 definitely has, pushed out the Core i9 for
Mm-hmm.
amount of
Yeah,
cores
for
and
cores
threads.
and threads.
Mm-hmm. Right? Especially the Threadripper. If I could afford the Threadripper, oh my gosh. Maybe if
So
I won
just so
the
we
lottery.
can all bask in the glory of how many cores, how many threads?
64 cores and 128 threads. That would be so great. But $4,000, which
Yeah,
I
four
think
grand is out of my ballpark. That's a fact.
for sure.
But whoo-wee, that go fast.
Yeah, my husband would kick me out of the house. Well, he wouldn't, but he would not be a happy camper for sure.
Yeah, we couldn't afford to heat the place. If I bought that, we'd be like hobo fires every night because there's no way we can afford the to keep the
Right.
place warm anymore.
Eating beans and rice.
Mm-hmm. We're ready there. It does look like on the flip side of things, if you're not looking for just gaming performance, which not everybody is. So like I'm an old man, and I am out of the gaming sphere entirely now. Like all I really want is multitasking, not to slow down. I want more cores so that hopefully I can really lean on the CPU. If I'm doing something like video exports or running Handbrake or something so that I can take these massive videos like we're doing here. These videos come out at like 3 GB, which takes forever to upload to YouTube. So Handbrake is something that I would use to turn that into like 90 megabytes, which, you know, is a processor intensive task. Honestly, the bang for your buck here goes the other way. With more cores for your money, the AMD processors really are a better value proposition when it comes to multitasking as opposed to um, frames per second.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah.
say in go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the Ryzen 9 and the Core i9. The Ryzen 9 has more cores, more threads, 12 and 24 versus 10 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
And it is less money.
Yeah. Yeah. So it really does depend on what your application is, what you're looking for. The same. So if we're not just looking at desktop hardware, if you're looking at laptop hardware as well, it looks like across the board, the Ryzens will generate less heat and take up less battery and actually produce more like power per watt than the Intel ones do. And again, at a cheaper price. So those are certainly the way to go for that.
Yeah, they are. I can't believe I'm saying I'm going to probably buy an AMD next.
I'm probably going to get something with an ARM in it. I'm waiting on this. I have it's not very old, but it's very well used, a 2017 iMac. But like back when the Macs were a little less pro than they are now. So this has 4 cores, 4 threads, and 24 gig of RAM. And it's starting to slow down, I think, like relative to other machines I could buy. And I'm kind of looking. Like Alienware has an Aorus. I think it's Aurora, maybe. I don't know. I didn't look really close. For like,
I feel like once you say Alienware, it's way too. Oh, yep,
it
Aurora's.
is way too. I just can't. Like, it has to look good because otherwise I'm going to look at that thing and go like, this Windows machine not only operates like a turd, it looks like one too.
Oh, it starts
But
at 890. That's not bad.
yeah, they're not super bad. And if I can, and actually, they're starting to roll out the 11th gen Intel ones there. So some of the 10th generation, so the previous gen models are coming down in price.
Mm-hmm.
And I found one with an RTX 2060, which the would smoke like the graphics card I've got integrated here in my iMac, and it was, I think it was $1,400, and it was on sale from 2 grand, and that's not bad.
No, that's not bad. I was looking at the Lenovo Legions,
Mm-hmm.
and they were on sale for the longest time, and now they're not anymore. But I think it's because they were the ninth gen, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
Yeah, they've
They
actually, I will try to remember to put a link in there for everybody. Lenovo is running laptop sales right now on 10th generation Intel stuff. And actually, some of those prices are crazy, like a first generation X1 Carbon. So it's the one laptop on the Windows side that I think every Mac user can look at and go like, that's a really fantastic looking laptop. It is very, very thin. Um, and it actually has really beefy internals, um, down from 2,900 to 1,300 bucks.
Yeah, I just saw that. I saw all those. I'm like, oh, geez, of course.
And that almost made me hop on my credit card and order that straight away. Take my money, take it.
Here, we were just stupid. Just we're just gonna
Yeah.
throw all our money out the window.
More bucks than brains, which is a huge problem because we're teachers and there's not a lot of bucks to be had there.
Oh, oh dang. Okay, now I gotta stop looking at this Lenovo laptop. I don't need a laptop. I don't want a laptop. I got plenty of them. I don't need
I know, that's what I was thinking too. What are
it.
you going to do with one more laptop? Well, start a huge collection down here next to me.
Yeah, yeah. And I need another desktop like a hole in the head, but I really want an NVMe.
I know, like the huge increase in speed there would be pretty fantastic.
Well, especially if it's on the motherboard. Okay, so that's a conversation for a different day. We can talk
Mm-hmm.
about
Ooh, there we
hard.
go. Hard drive speeds. Nothing more exciting.
So, yep.
So that has been our discussion on Intel versus AMD. If you absolutely positively need frames per second, it still looks like Intel is the way to go. If you are interested in squeezing more value for your dollar, it really looks like Intel, or AMD rather, is the way to go. Coffee running out. No
AMD
more
at
consciousness to
Google.
be had.
Yeah, they're kind of
Um,
AMD's always the underdog. They're the lower
mhm.
cost underdog.
And that's a fact. So you can check out the links to the Tom's Hardware, really very, very extensive and thorough testing they have there for you. They have prices matched to model numbers matched across the board from Ryzen 5s and i5s all the way up through Ryzen 9s and Core i9 stuff. So it's a really fantastic list. And again, you can find the link to that in the comment below. And I will also leave the link to Lenovo's sale right now because, hey, if you're looking for laptops for sure, I'm not sure I saw desktops in there, but save a little money there. That's not so bad. While you're at it, if you like the content while you were here, please remember, or please think about hitting that subscribe button down there. Hit the like button. And leave us a comment below. You can hit the bell to be notified of future episodes as they become available. On behalf of this side, no, I can't even point inside the camera this time. It's this way. Stephanie Washer, it's going to reverse it on us later on anyway. It won't matter. Eric Wolf, that's me. Jim Conley. Last time I said their names wrong. Chuck Conkle and the rest of the RVC community. Thanks for watching, everybody, and stay safe and stay sane out there.